Mithun story is one of our super successes. It also gives us a lot of direction into how organized this whole music metadata space is. And if you get content incorrectly, there is no way you can lose your credits or you can lose your money. So the job of Q sheets is not limited to making a Q sheet, making sure it's accurate, sending it to the society, making sure that the society has ingested it into their system. So when that particular work gets money, it's paid to the rightful owners. The publishing administrator doesn't own any rights. So she's like your back office.
ISWC is only one, and depending on how many cover versions or remixes get made, you will have multiple ISRCs.
You must ensure it has a separate ISRC. Desktops open on your laptop. One says content management, one says royalty management, one says publishing administration, licensing and sync, and financial management. And if you have your eyes always on these balls, you could ensure that this one I'm doing 100%, this
Yeah.
I'm doing 10, and accordingly delegate. That's how you would work in any other business, no? Most artists today are very disciplined. You release music through a distribution platform. If he's not going to do your publishing administration, there's always going to be some amount of money left on the table.
ISRC क्या होता है, ISWC क्या होता है, और ये जानना क्यों इम्पॉर्टेंट है. Being an artist today is a lot of work. Even though there is a lot of technology that helps make it easy for everyone to make and release music, the administration part of it is, well, not so straightforward to understand. So, our guest today is Shirley Singh from Music Rights Management, and she is here to help us understand and detangle a lot of these basic things that we all should be doing. Welcome to Music Mehfil India, Shirley Singh. How are you today?
Very well, very good. Thank you so much for having me here.
So, what year did you begin helping out with at the administration side of music, and how?
It wasn't something that we started thinking that's going to be a venture and we're going to pull into this and this is an area that needs to get filled. When we started this, my husband is a music composer and he does a lot of, he used to do like in 2008, 2009, and even now there's a crazy lot of music. He's always doing soundtracks and backgrounds and music. And that's when I got exposed to IPRS, PRS, and the whole system of royalties and and I'm like, why aren't we as Indian composers receiving this kind of royalty if it's available to everybody else internationally? So then I got into the understanding what is the society, if you're getting money, what is it that you need to do, the registration, how to be a member, how to register your works, how to submit Q sheets, how to make Q sheets. So when I started that in 2008, 2009 with Raju, at the same time, when Raju and Javed Akhtar and Salim Sulaiman and Ashish Raghu and everybody was working with all the effort on the Copyright Act, and it was just a time where everybody was talking about these things, thinking about these things.
Yeah.
So then I kind of micromanaged or granular managed into this whole thing of what is that you need to do to actually see the money. So that I did, and we started seeing the money. And then we obviously with Raju's friends, we started with my friends working with them. So whether it was we started with Javed Saab and then Shankar Ehsan Loy, and then Vishal Shekhar, Vishal Bharadwaj, and also they were the big names who were doing all the work. And that kind of allowed me to create systems, structures, SOPs consistently in place that if I did these 10 things correctly, every artist can make money. Today, when we make something, we need to go out and sell.
Yeah.
Here, there is no selling. Here, it is sold. The money is already deposited against that work which you did.
Right.
You just need to do the right documentation. So, the work is transferred from the collective rights organizations to your account.
You have been working forever with Q sheets. Yes. So let's start by defining what's a Q sheet.
A Q sheet is a sheet of metadata, a sheet of music that describes when a audio visual, a TV serial, a movie or a jingle is performed, who are the people who have written the music in that, who's composed it, and who's the publisher of that piece of music.
Okay.
So a particular Q sheet will have multiple lines of data where music belongs to multiple different sets of people.
Why are cue sheets kind of a pain?
Uh, see, actually, today there's a lot of technology in terms of, I think, a lot of software is available,
Yeah.
which will, technically speaking, like when you finish a whole soundtrack, you can put it in through this. I think Nuendo has some software and stuff, which will put up and say, okay, this is the parts where there's music, this is the parts where there is no music, and there is only soundtrack, and uh, they'll give you that information. Now the tough part starts when you've got these 50 segments of music to actually link it to metadata at every space. The author, composer, publisher, every little bit of the pace, that becomes tricky.
Yeah.
The composer does the soundtracks. It's sent to the producer. The
Yeah,
producer's
they-
editor then blends it with third party music. So then it's a completely different.
So your third party music can mean music from other artists or already made music that is placed in the used in the visual.
It can be songs made specifically for the serial. It can be Bollywood music, and
Yeah.
so all those need to be credited and mentioned specifically in a cue sheet.
Yeah.
And then if you're doing the cue sheet for a film, so nowadays even one film has songs from different composers.
Yeah.
The background is somebody else. So it's a tedious and a very boring task. And once we do it, after you get this information, you still need to put it in the format of the different societies.
Yeah.
So, again, that's another activity to do.
Yeah.
Then you need to send it to the societies, and then you need to make sure you've not missed anything, because if anything is missed,
Yeah.
they are not accepting it into the system. So you think I have sent it, but
Yeah.
it's in no man's land. It's just lying there.
Yeah.
So the job of cue sheets is not limited to making a cue sheet. It's about making the cue sheet, making sure it's accurate, sending it to the society, making sure that the society has ingested it into their system. So when that particular work gets money, it is paid to the rightful owners.
Is it correct to call you a publishing administrator?
Yes, I think publishing administrator is the terminology, and it's a new terminology for India, but internationally it's a very common.
yeah.
It's like how you would have an accountant or you would have a lawyer. It's a clear professional. It's a space. You're a publishing administrator.
Yeah.
What is different from a publishing administrator and a publisher? It's a publishing administrator doesn't own any rights. He's like your back office. Or she's like your back office who makes sure that you can do your music and focus all your attention on your music, and
Yeah.
this is your manager who makes sure that all the documentation is done, so you are not leaving any money on the table.
How easy or hard is this process with IPRS?
It's very, very streamlined. In fact, IPRS has gone online also now.
Yeah.
So when we register work, when we do this for the artist can go online onto his portal and he can see the details also. And IPRS also holds regular workshops to teach you to do cue sheets. What I have experienced is sometimes an artist, we encourage all of them to make it yourself. Because even after you make it yourself, it's only one part of the deal. You have to still go to somebody to make sure that, or you hire a team who is doing this for somebody is making a cue sheet. But then you need somebody on their head managing them. Okay, आपने क्यू शीट बनाया, आपने क्यू शीट भेजा है, आपने क्यू शीट वो सोसाइटी में सबमिट हो गया.
Right.
So when you come to an outside to a publishing administrator, it's now it's his job to make sure all these tasks are done. So, and yes, IPRS is right now it's actually chasing artists to say, please submit your cue sheets. We need to distribute our royalties, and because I mean they just can't. No society can if they don't have cue sheets. They don't know whom to give it to. The money would just not.
Yeah. Don't you think like AI is come at a good time in a way to simplify or rather speed up this process?
No, see now that's the whole point. Okay, whenever you're doing cue sheets, it's 90% of the time there is new music in it.
Yeah.
So and AI can do what a Shazam is doing. I mean, if the music is
Yeah.
already released out in the world, then he can say, okay, this music is. Even now we use softwares which allows us to identify and makes the process much
Yeah.
more easier, where we can whatever is already released gets meta tagged on its own. But for that first time to it to be around, it needs to be registered at the society with the meta tagging, with the ISRC, with the ISWC. Otherwise, the next time even that song is mapped into a particular film or some other situation, he's still not going to get the money, no?
It's not every day I come across publishing administrators. So why are you so alone in this space?
The key point is information. As in now, after being in this space for a good 12 years, I've understood everything that needs to get done. And I'm still learning. Every day something new is happening. But I know where we've reached in this 12 years. And with only the artist in mind, to ensure the artist never lost his royalty, it made us understand what are little things that you need to do, why money is getting lost. So for anybody else to put that amount of effort into as a business venture, not knowing if they are going to make any revenue out of it, is not making sense.
Right.
When I got into this, I didn't do it as a business. I did it to help my friends and family, and literally, it was just literally okay. I can do this, and I have another business, and so I have extras. I had additional staff who could multitask into this activity. So that I think is the biggest reason why to get into this 100% is a learning curve which you wouldn't invest into it consciously if you're not from the music business. And if you're from the music business and you're a publisher or a label, then anyway, you knew what to do. And the third and the most relevant point, I think, is see, earlier before 2012,
Yeah.
the right to royalty to artists were transferable. The biggest game changer in this was the fact, the change in the copyright law, which made sure that your right to royalty was now a definite source of income for you as an artist.
Right.
So at that point of time, I'm thinking maybe I was there in that space. I was there in that room, in that thing to understand. Okay, now this is a job that needs to get done, and just deep dived into it.
Right.
One of my skill sets is this granular management. Like forget micro, I get into
Yeah.
and that I think is key here. Like every song having an ISRC, having it an ISWC, getting it mapped to different societies, making sure you're tracking the music efficiently. But you see this particular serial, I remember this Ashish Rego's one serial called
Balika Vadhu?
Balika Vadhu, actually played in Croatia.
Oh, wow.
Who would
have
and it was
thought?
dubbed in a Croatian language. But the music, of course, was the same. Now, because someone said something, we checked, we linked up, and then we submitted, we did the correct mapping, we tracked the sequence of things. Ashish got his royalties for Balika Vadhu from
Croatia.
Croatia.
Okay.
Okay. So those are the things that now we understand. If we do these 30 things together, it will work. And in the process, I have been able to create a very efficient team. So now we are like
And essentially a system, right?
system,
Yeah.
SOPs, and people. People are key to this because no two artists are the same. So that again became my key strength. Even though there were a lot of softwares available, which did publishing administration, it doesn't technically work for the Indian market.
Why is that?
We're still putting our metadata in place.
Ah, yes.
Going forward, everybody knows what to do. But going backwards, like some of the composers have 3,000 songs, 4,000 songs.
Yes, right.
So to
Yeah.
get all their work registered, meta tagged, like 600 movies for Q sheet, just finding the movies, making the Q sheet. So, so going forward, now that we know what the structure, when the person comes to us, and you have a new kid on the block as what? One movie, 4 songs, 5 songs.
Yeah.
But with India, the challenge is I'm working with everybody who's got a history. So if a new publishing administrator has to take on the job, he has to now understand from a composer who himself doesn't have a record of all the work he's done.
Yeah.
You have to make his work list. That only takes so much time for us. It takes us so much time to just get the artist content together, get the composer's details together, all the films he's worked in. That takes us like sometimes nearly a month, 2 months to get that in order. Then get that ratified with the composer. Then start registering it with the right detailing.
Okay, so right now the young independent indie is rising. Can we run through the basic administration hygiene that they should do?
At point one, minute an artist decides to be a composer, he needs to understand the importance of catalog management. Means he can actually start with every time he creates a tune, puts create an Excel, and there are a lot of softwares also available, which kind of okay. These are the 10 songs I've composed, and this is 50% done, 60% done, 80% done, whatever. And for this song, I need to call a guitarist. This call I need to call.
Oh, so you're saying they should start right when they're working on their music?
Yes, so that's exactly at any point of time you should have an Excel sheet. Today, as a non-music person, I would always know which work of mine I'm on and which at what stage. Okay, I've got these 15 songs ready and which are at different levels. Put that out, and the next column can be the level which the song is, who you need to collaborate with.
Yeah.
And when you collaborate with these people, now the collaboration is a very new age thing. It wasn't something that happened earlier. Earlier, the composer composed the music.
Yeah.
He called the writer and it was a different format of functioning. But now, because they collaborate, so everybody contributes to the melody.
Right.
So it's important that you create something called a split sheet
Yes.
as you're working. So when you're working, this person's come in and they've played the guitar, and it's been the most impressive part of the riff, or it's created then you make sure that person's decision how much of this composition rights belong to him. So there could be actually 4 people composing a song, and this is the
Yeah.
proportion. So towards the end, when the song is completed and done, there is no confusion there.
Yeah.
So at any point of time, if you can just click on a button and see, I have these 30 songs at these different levels, out of which these are ready.
Yeah.
And these are these are the split sheet credits I want to give the person. Now then it's my mix master, then it's ready. Now this is the first part of content management, that is pre-release. Now second is organization of his data or content management for the release. At the release time, he needs to make sure that all the people who worked with him have an IPI number.
Right.
Okay, that would own, and then they have and the song has an ISRC and an ISWC.
So an IPI number will be given only if all the members are registered with the PRO. Local
No,
PRO.
an IPI is the membership number of a PRO.
Yeah.
An ISWC is given to you by a PRO, or it's got to you through your publishing administrator or your publisher.
What is ISWC?
ISWC is the International Musical Work Code. It is the code for the underlying work, the melody,
The composition.
the composition, and the lyrics.
Yeah, so ISWC is only one, and depending on how many cover versions or remixes, DJ, Bhangra, etc., versions get made, you will have multiple ISRCs.
You must ensure it has a separate ISRC when you're releasing the work, and maintain that hygiene. When you're maintaining, like when we do it for independent art, we maintain that hygiene. If a song of yours is covered by anybody, it'll have a separate ISRC. You don't know which particular sound recording is going to be a hit.
Yeah.
At the same time, whichever sound recording plays, you will get money for the composition, the lyrics. Now, this is where, when you asked me earlier, why does publishing, and today it is most important for independent artists to ensure they have a publishing administrator, because they cannot be doing this whole thing, because they need to focus on creating their music.
Yeah.
They need to focus on marketing their music. They need to focus on getting the live events out. They need to focus on getting their
Marketing.
marketing.
So I have a question there. So who gives ISRC and ISWC? Who issues this?
ISRCs are this international ISRC agency, and which links with every country. In India, we have the IMI, which gives you the ISRCs, and so you can go to them and you can subscribe by your ISRCs.
But most common way that today most of us
And
get
it's given to you by a distributor.
is by the
A
distributor.
distributor.
So distributors are companies like DistroKid, CD Baby, Orchard, TuneCore, Believe.
And an ISWC is given to you by your performing rights organization, or you get it through your publisher. These ISWC is generated through SIZAC. SIZAC is a central body that generates this ISWC, and it tries to ensure that every composition has a unique ISWC, and that protects the interests of the artist for his lifetime, plus another 75 years.
75 years, yeah, something. 76, 75
So
years. Yeah.
that's how important ISWC is. And earlier we didn't know this information, and also it wasn't in our control because the Indian music scene was different.
Okay. So the content management is done, registering, ensuring that you have your IPI, ISRC, and ISWC is done. What comes next?
So what comes next is publishing administration.
Okay.
Publishing administration is ensuring that you get the royalties that is due to you for the sound recordings that you have registered.
Yeah.
The PRs would give you what you would get from the
Composition.
composition.
Right.
There is where you need to make sure that everybody you collaborate with is also a member of a society,
Yeah.
and your music is tracked, your performance are tracked, so you can refer to the society and let them know, okay, this happened, this, and I haven't received this royalty.
Yeah.
That's the his administrator's job. Most publishing administrators work on a percentage, so he knows the more money the artist makes, that's how he turns around to get a better revenue. And so publishing administration is the next step that he needs to think about, that he does it himself or he delegates a professional to do it.
Okay.
Okay. After your publishing administration, the next one on job is to actually identify people who license music for sync.
Oh, wow. That's a big task.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it is again a nascent market in our country, and it is
Yeah.
a place now for independent artists because they own their publishing. Now
Yeah.
they are in a position to approach music supervisors, understand what are the kind of films happening in the market. Either they hire music supervisor, they tie up with a few of them,
Yeah.
but that is a big revenue spinner, which they should have an eye on that ball.
Okay.
The like you get a song into a movie, or you get a song in the soundtrack of a film, it just takes it to another level.
Yeah.
And the last one is, of course, financial management. That create a budget, decide how much you want to spend on the creation of the song, how much you want to spend on marketing on the song, until what time do you want to market a particular song.
Right. Are there any guidelines, like ratios in this typically?
Exactly. I was like, when you normally see a Bollywood film or something, like a big label or publisher does, they would, when a new film is coming up, they on an average, I don't think they promote it for more than a month before. And in the independent space, I think you could another month and a half, you could work,
After,
could work on promoting that song in a like zeroed in dense matter, and then let it take its organic play, and then your next song should be due for release. So by then, when someone you promote the second song, it also gives attention to your earlier song, not your whole
Yeah,
catalog gets moved
yeah.
up. But if you consistently put content out and you're consistently doing the marketing game,
Yeah.
and so that takes all your energy. So if you can structure your career to every time, at any point of time, you have clear 4 desktops open on your laptop. One says content management, one says royalty management, one says publishing administration, licensing and sync, and financial management. And if you have your eyes always on these balls, you know, that you're juggling, and you could ensure that this one I'm doing 100%, this
Yeah.
I'm doing 10, these I'm doing 50, this I'm doing 100, and accordingly delegate. That's how you would work in any other business, no? That kind of structure or discipline would really help an independent artist, and in the long run, because I think the world is in the best place for an artist today. He can put what he wants out there, and there's no thing as a, I mean, who knows which song is a good song?
Okay, here comes the main thing. This seems like a lot of work. How can a creative person, an artist, manage their creative tasks versus their administrative tasks? Of course, you said delegate it. Delegate it to who?
That's the thing. See, now royalty management and the publishing administration, there are professionals who could get that done for you, so that you have one hat less on your table. Your creativity, nobody, that's on your table to do.
Absolutely.
And even your financial planning, that at some point of time would have to still come from your head, because you know what is the way. You can have somebody help you with that, your CA or your,
Yeah.
but end of the day, CA is only going to do what you're thinking.
Yeah.
So that budgeting,
So the thing that can be completely delegated is the publishing administration bit for sure.
publishing administration and royalty management, because
Yeah.
that is one area where you don't have to pay upfront. So you are only paying when you make money, na. Then it's not like you're hiring someone. It's like two of you all are on a new business model,
Yeah.
and this new business model, I've done my 85%, which is creating the music. Now it's your 15%. We need to make sure that that product gets that. If we look at it like a joint venture, like a partnership,
Yeah.
then and it's win-win for everybody.
based on what everything that you have told me, an example comes to my mind, which is Sanam Re by Arijit Singh, that was sampled by this artist CJ, and that song blew up. Whoopty.
Yes.
Yeah. So can we take a look at that?
In fact, that our Mithun story is one of our super successes. It also gives us a lot of direction into how organized this whole music metadata space is. And if you get content incorrectly, there is no way that you can lose your credits or you can lose your money. This song, Whoopty CJ, was the highest streamed song in America. So ASCAP also gave Mithun an award for the best composer, the highest streamed song.
Oh wow.
Okay, and he got co-composition rights with Whoopty because the Sanam Re tune was the backbone of the whole song,
Yeah.
and it actually opened a window to us to understand that there's so much of Indian music being sampled internationally with
Yeah.
so many of an artists. That's one of the areas that we are focusing on right now.
Yeah.
And yes, all of this happened just because metadata was accurately put into the system. We didn't go and ask anybody anything. We didn't nothing. It just took its own flow.
Yeah.
But all we did is what we do. That is register your music, put your ISRC, put your ISWC, get your fingerprint done, keep tracking your music. I mean, honestly, we couldn't have tracked a sample. The sample came to us because we did all this. So something matched somewhere and it happened. So the post-COVID, everything has gone so digital that it's so much more easier to track.
What do you think is the potential for this in our country right now?
When you're registering right from the distribution process, you've got all this in place. When somebody likes a piece of music, they will know who it belongs to.
Yeah.
They will come to you for licensing and sync. Minute the music is licensed, then you would give them a licensing deal or to either to use a whole song or use a sample of the song. And the job, then you don't need to go to this.
Yeah.
But it wasn't available to the artists in the earlier generation. So we have to now kind of backtrack on those. But going forward, independent artists would never have to worry about his music getting used without his permission. If he does the right royalty management process and he has somebody consistently on that. It's not like I'm doing this for 6 months and then I'm shutting shop. The person who's doing the publishing administration is on your project, on you every day.
Right.
He has somebody on his team working on this every day.
So what is it that you are currently focusing more on, since so many things have changed in the past 12 years?
The way forward, one of the key areas that we're really working with is distribution. And with music distribution for independent artists, when you release a music, you release a music through a distribution platform. If he's not going to do your publishing administration, there's always going to be some amount of money left on the table. Because we would do your publishing administration with your distribution. And we will make sure that you got your ISRCs and ISWs. So the whole process now is streamlined from point one. Now your job can actually say, my job ends when I complete my content and I give it to my distributor with the details of the author, composer and publisher.
Right.
Now if one of them is not a member of society, we would initiate them and say, okay, can I make this other artist a member of IPRS? Can I? So then everybody has an IPI. Because when everybody has an IPI, then only can I get an ISWC for them. Now this extra back-end management is the USP that we bring on the table, which will be the game changer for the artist. This is something an international artist would be very aware of, because most international artists, not most, every one of them have their own publisher. So he would always make sure all these things are done.
So suppose I have to release a song and I come to you. What would the process be like?
That's it. You just come to me, you give me a song, and from there we release it across the world, and we would take care of your publishing administration, and we will make sure your members of societies, we will get your ISRCs, your ISWs, whatever needs to get done is on us.
What would that cost me upfront?
Nothing. We work on a percentage of the royalty when you start receiving money. So till you don't start earning money, we are investing on you. We are making sure that your publishing administration is done, your song is distributed.
What is in it for you then?
What is in it for us is the percentage and the royalty that you would make when your songs become super hits.
I'm asking because that is such a one in a million probability as of now. Yeah.
Yes. So I think that exactly is what makes our model a little different. Even when you asked me why didn't many people do publishing administration,
Yeah.
is because we are here for the long run, and this will only make sense if we do it like that. Because as an independent artist, you have certain constraints with finances, with the kind of teams you can put together, with a lot of logistics. So if we can, right now we are here when you're starting up, helping you through the process. When this whole royalty management and this Q sheet thing happened, they're like, you're like just because even when we make Q sheets, we don't charge anybody for the Q sheets. We
Oh.
only take a percentage on the royalty when you receive royalty.
Okay.
So we have
Is
a lot
that
of
now? Has that
always been like that. So
Okay.
we've invested a lot of money in making Q sheets, submitting work, registering work.
Okay.
So we've invested a lot into the process.
Huh.
And I think now, but we're seeing it's good now. It's very good. The returns are good. It's more, but it takes time. It takes time. So we believe the same way that with independent artists also, as long as we are investing in terms of the publishing administration and the distribution and stuff like that, when there will be a time, and it is the collective game. It will work.
Is this whole process automated or done manually?
We are definitely not fully automated. I really don't intend to be fully automated for a very long time now, till we've really not found all the gaps in the system. But however, we have a lot of investment put into softwares which help us with, which do our fingerprinting for us, which make our cue sheets for us, which do which enable us to match the works of artists and lots of things. But end of the day, it is managed by a person. We have around 36, 38 people working for us now. I said 220, 223 artists that we are taking care of.
Oh, wow.
And each of them can get a response in half an hour to any question that they ask. And we're trying to create that personalized service so that artist always feels and knows that he's taken care of. Because only when he's taken care of is when we are going to function.
So, okay, in this realm of things, and through your personal experience, what is one heartening as well as one disheartening thing that you have come across?
I think everything right now is very, very heartening, especially from the music side of the business. And most artists today are very disciplined, and they're enjoying the freedom of being able to put whatever they want to put out there.
Yeah, there's definitely more individuality.
And
Yeah.
the challenge that is in this space for the independent artist is the discipline that they need to get into it to make it commercially viable in the long term.
So, a very specific kind of discipline.
They would have to get that in, that discipline, that I'm going to put some kind of a structure. I'm going to do this. I'm going to release something every 2 months. This is my marketing plan. This is my year plan, and stick to it.
Right.
Come what may, stick to it. Once you stick to it, you have to get the result. It's not going anywhere.
Shirley, that was wonderful. Thank you for laying it out so clearly, explaining so many basic concepts, and definitely promoting the point of hygiene around releasing our works out there. So, if people have to reach out to you, how do they do that?
So we have a website, and it's called Music Rights Management India. .com. So please reach out to us, and we also have a number there. You can call us and we'll call you back.
Okay.
And we're here for every artist, so just make sure he can Shanti se do his music, and we'll take care of everything else.
Okay, that sounds lovely.
Yes,
Thank you for
thank
making
you.
the time.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.